It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning with Fletcher. Good morning, Fletcher.
Oh, hey, happy Friday, everybody.
Good morning, Ryder.
All I said was the Easter Bunny at the Menlo Park Mall was more convincing. He just jumped the railing and knocked me down.
Damn, this is Minnesota's 92 KQRS. What the hell was that?
Rough night at Eden Prairie Center.
That's a tough beat. Yeah, that's a tough beat right there.
You gotta look out. You never know where it's coming from. It's Friday.
Oh, yeah.
As Paul already mentioned, thank you for being with us as the weekend commences. Might as well just get right to it, Paul. We're feeling Minnesota. What's happening?
Multiple fire crews responded last night to fires at the Minnesota Renaissance Festival grounds. 5 connected wood structures containing 12 storefronts burned down, unfortunately. Yeah. Crews had it under control within 2 hours, but the damage was already done.
Sure.
Luckily, no injuries were reported. State Fire Marshal is on the end of investigation because they're still unsure what caused it. It's a bummer. That's sacred grounds for a lot of Minnesotans, for sure.
It certainly is. They did say that lack of accessible water was a problem, which, I mean, in keeping with the idea of a renaissance, I mean, that's kicking it as real as it gets.
Yeah. I guess so.
Just saying, looking for a silver lining anywhere.
Maybe have a fire hydrant installed for future reference.
You want to live life in the Renaissance era? You're not going to have a hydrant.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true. The opposite of that, booming us into the future, a federal judge yesterday ruled Google did violate antitrust laws by illegally dominating online advertising markets with its technology. The decision paves the way for U.S. prosecutors to seek a breakup of the $1.8 trillion company's ad tech business.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I agree. The court found Google unlawfully monopolized 2 parts: publisher tools and the software connecting those publishers to advertisers. So
break them all apart, baby.
I love it.
Have we had anything like this since the breakup of Ma Bell and that kind of thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Nothing that is truly. I think nothing that impacts every single person's life on a daily level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
So screw them all. That's what I say.
That's how you get to 1.8 trillion, I guess.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I'm with you. Screw them all. 57%. I thought I'd throw some Easter nuggets at you. 57% of adults would love to compete in an Easter egg hunt this year.
Oh, grow up. What the hell's wrong with us?
I haven't been able to find it, but I think there's one going on somewhere in the metro that's for like
adults?
Real eggs, where they have like 500 a dozen eggs up for that. They're not hiding, like you have to turn in a ticket to get them, but
got it.
Game on.
500 dozen. That's a lot of dough in eggs. You said grow up to that. How about this? 62% of adults would like to get their own Easter basket.
Oh my God! Why did we ignore so many people over that? I mean, parents, give your kids the baskets early, and then explain to them how growing up works.
Dude, if I made Mr. Ryder a basket with just candy in it, he'd be elated.
Really?
He loves some freaking candy, dude.
You know, now that I think about it, Mr. Ryder, Mrs. Steve would probably really appreciate an Easter basket too. She's got a sweet tooth from hell.
I think it's the silliest thing in the history of the world. I love candy too, but I don't need it in a little basket with the nesting. What do you call that crap? The nesting stuff in it to make it all pretty. 80% of parents admit to stealing candy from their kids each year. That's how you do it.
That checks out.
Yeah, you give them the basket, but then, like you said, you show them how growing up works. You take a few of them.
Yeah. I mean, even as a kid, like Easter, it was a basket and it was kind of cool, but it was just never, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but then again, like even as a kid, I wasn't a candy freak, so it just never really resonated with me all that much.
Well, it was always kind of an overlook, to Halloween and Christmas and stuff like that. It's like, that's it. All right, last one. How do you guys eat your chocolate bunny?
I don't.
Ears first.
I hand it to someone who cares.
You've never eaten one?
When I was a kid, I mean, honestly, 50 years ago, maybe once.
Okay,
I don't remember ever yes, I'm going to eat this chocolate bunny. And again, that's a me thing. I just don't care.
Your ears first, Ryder?
Is ears first for me. Steve, is that you being deprived because you have 7 older siblings who definitely got to the bunny before you?
But you know what? Maybe it is. Yeah. It could certainly be. I mean, hell, I rarely finished my own sandwich at that table. So yeah, that might have something to do with it.
Well, Ryder, you're in the majority. 77% eat the ears first.
That's the right way to do it.
16% say feet first. I thought you would fall in the 6% that start with the butt.
Feet. No, I will say not that I've done this in forever, and not that I probably ever will, but yeah, I would think ear. You just right to the ears is what I would
Best
imagine.
Part.
I'd break them off and eat those. That's
Sure.
where I started. Yeah, that's what I got.
Some sports real quickly. The Wild, game 1 against the Vegas Golden Knights, Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central. Nice work, NHL. God forbid kids outside the Pacific time zone get a minute to check out the best playoffs we have.
Yeah, super excited about not being
Matt
able to see
Boldy, we need you, bud. Boldy, who had a heck of a season this year, career high 73 points. 2 previous playoff appearances, 1 goal and 3 assists in 12 games. Time to step it up, young man.
That's a dude that needs to wake up for sure.
The Wolves and the Lakers kick off this weekend. Anthony Edwards, a lot of people don't seem to realize this, led the league in 3-pointers this year. You didn't know that, did you?
No.
And by the way, shooting them at just about 40%. So
really,
that's the target you want to hit him, and he led the league. Yeah, no, I mean, he's like this long ball serious threat now.
Yeah.
And he, of course, can still get to the rim like few others in the league. He needs to remember his teammates are there for him. Let's not try to do it all ourselves. And then Julius Randle, also a guy like Boldy, who in the past playoffs not really shown up. We're going to see what he's got going for him. I'm looking forward to both of these series. Finally, the Minnesota Lynx, draft day, they traded for a player from Washington named Carly Samuelson. She was playing, as so many players in the WNBA do, in Europe in the WNBA offseason. Mm-hmm. She finished playing in a tournament in Madrid, got on a plane to North Carolina. While she's sitting on the plane, her phone starts blowing up with text messages, but the Wi-Fi on the plane doesn't work, and I guess she had some way where she couldn't open anything up.
Yeah.
Gets on the plane for 9 hours, lands in Charlotte, turns the plane on, and then finds out she's been traded to the Minnesota Lynx.
Wow.
That is just such a great 90s story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on a plane and couldn't find out. It's just a reminder that the minute I got on a plane that had Wi-Fi, I knew that the world is coming to an end. I would give anything to not know news for 9 hours because the plane didn't have Wi-Fi.
Agreed.
I just can't stand that you can't go anywhere anymore. Used to be like a submarine. Now it's just like you're sitting at home. But you're traveling at 30,000 feet.
You could put the phone in airplane mode and act like you're on a plane.
It's not the same.
You can get on a submarine.
It's not the same. It's not the same because everyone around you is getting updated scores. I like landing and who won the game.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man, it was a little simpler. It was a little better. Buffalo, Minnesota. Glad to have you with us. We're thinking of you, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Big difference between Buffalo, Minnesota, and Buffalo, New York. I had to throw the Minnesota in there.
There's a bit of a difference. A little more hockey in Buffalo, New York.
Sure. Yeah. Going a little later in the show today on a Good Friday show, we're talking marijuana legislation. A guy named Beecher Vaillancourt is going to be with us. Any questions you have about the process, any questions about the dispensaries that are coming, any of that stuff, hit us on the talk and text line, 651-989-ROCK. It's an Ask Me Anything Friday. We will bring your questions to our in-house expert. And in the meantime, while we're talking about this, the kids are definitely not all right. Stoners today are doing it all wrong, and I'll explain. Man, I don't know what's wrong with people these days. A recent nationwide survey of stoners, people who enjoy THC in their lives on a regular basis, nearly 2/3 said actually they've really shifted part of how they go about their day, meaning they surround themselves with much healthier snacks because of the inevitable impending munchies that will overtake their life when getting stoned. And they want to make sure that they have more healthy options available to them. To which I say, where did we all go so wrong?
It's today's stoner is what it is.
That's not the point.
I mean, nothing tastes like Cool Ranch Doritos.
That's what I'm saying. And with the extra, the bonus taste buds that marijuana put into my mouth, I mean, it just fills me with I need all of the Cool Ranch Doritos. Never eat them. Stoned, I'd eat the biggest bag you had.
Cheesy.
I would find myself on a magic carpet ride of all those spices and the crispy crunch. I just can't imagine thinking about a rice cake with some almond butter when I'm really stoned. That's just not at all going to do the job.
No carrots and dip or
not a chance, man. No.
That makes sense, but
in fact, really not much of it's not an issue in my life anymore. I don't ever imbibe. I can't remember the last time I was stoned. When I used to try to be a stoner, and I worked at it for years, thinking one day it would just flip a switch and it would make sense. Never really my thing. I was rarely awake long enough to really concern myself. In fact, basically I would lay my food out like breadcrumbs on my way to the bedroom, take a hit off a bong, and then just eat as I went, because I had about a 7-minute span before I was going to fall asleep, and I just wanted to make sure I was in bed as opposed to on the floor or the toilet or wherever it was going to happen. Because when I get stoned, I'm out, man. The clock starts ticking, and the Sleepy Time Express is pulling into the station.
Yeah, same mostly.
Really?
Yeah, but if I do get the munchies, it's always for some kind of weird carb thing, like a box of croutons or some junk like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Big chip guy for real. Like just straight up, just any kind of chip would always do the job.
But that's true of you 100% of the time.
Well, that's very true. But again, down south there's Crystal. It's like White Castle, the little tiny box. It looks exactly the same. Doesn't taste the same, but I would forgive you if you thought they were the same. That's one thing I would stay awake for. Is like, oh man, could someone run to Crystal really quick? Other than that, no, just whatever's on hand that's really salty or really greasy, or in a perfect world, both.
Yeah.
That's it.
I haven't partaken often in my life, but we've talked about it at length already. I'm a sweet tooth guy.
Yeah.
But when there's that, I definitely transition over the puffy Cheetos. Mm-hmm. That's just basically a stretched out salt grain.
Puffin Paul wants puffy Cheetos.
Correct.
Okay.
And Puffy Paul too.
Yeah.
Puffin Paul is puffy and wants puffy Cheetos.
That totally checks out.
Yeah,
no, I just think it's funny that somebody's actually. But it does speak to the fact that now. I'm aging myself. The fact that marijuana users, it's such a part of people's lives. There's no stigma, very little, if any, still around it. And you do think about it in a realistic, healthy way, which is, I'm doing this, and I'll probably get the munchies, so I'll probably want to have this instead.
Set up the carrots and hummus.
It's just so different from the days of, you think we can get some weed? Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. Well, then I don't know. You got some cheese? All right, cool. We'll be good. Or it was all part of it, which is, I shouldn't have eaten all that garbage, but I was stoned, man.
Yeah, calories don't count then.
It's the same way we evolve in just about every other aspect of life, right? I mean, it's becoming, we've learned more, and it's becoming more mainstream and more commonly used and normalized, if you will, and so. The snacks are going to evolve too. It just
doesn't lend itself to my old philosophy, which is if I'm going to get stoned, I guess I'm going to go for a run tomorrow. I mean, it was like they went hand in hand. It was my, at least it's like way more planking back in the day. You know what I mean? Yeah. How long can you hold that plank? Well, I did get stoned last night. I'm going to add 30 seconds to it. I'm just kidding. I never connected the two things at all. I haven't done a plank in my life. I have some self-respect left. Quick question. You strike me. You're a girl dad. You strike me as a pretty emotional guy. You wear your heart on your sleeve. 100%. You're not afraid of a couple of tears every now and again.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you nailed it.
That'll be that way. How's Mr. Riders? Will he tear up?
And he's talking about it being a problem. Like, he's like, I haven't cried in, however long. He's like, I think that might be an issue.
That's eventually you're gonna have to let the waterworks flow.
Yeah.
That's all there is to that. I ask because of this. There's a radio station in Ontario, and they had a caller call in to basically file an official complaint, not with the FCC, but with her husband.
Yeah.
Real quickly, she explains the whole thing right here.
We got married 2 years ago, and he sees me in my wedding dress coming down the aisle. This man does not shed a tear. My dad gave this beautiful speech on our wedding day. Nothing. Yesterday, he's watching this golf tournament, and he cried when whatever his name is, when he won, he cried over a golf. It is the maddest I've ever been.
Yes, of course he cried. Rory has waited 12 years to break through to the Grand Slam. I had tears in my eyes when he hit that putt. That's a true story.
Tell me you're pissed beyond belief without telling me you're pissed beyond belief.
She said at the end, she said, I've never been so angry in my life. So husband doesn't shed a tear on the wedding day, but then watches a man he'll never meet win the Masters and the waterworks turn in. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk text line. Let's just say this.
It's interesting.
I want to know if you have ever cried at a sport because of a sporting event. And can you add to that combo platter, but I didn't cry at my own wedding? That's a pretty good. But did you cry at your own wedding? Have you cried because of something other people that you don't know personally did in an athletic pursuit? That's what I want to get to on the KQ Talk text line. 651-989-ROCK.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
On the talk and text line, 651-989-ROCK. Did you cry at your own wedding? Oh. Have you cried because of sports? That's what we're asking. Mm-hmm. I'll say this quickly, a little bit of a diversion, listening to Bob Marley. When our daughter Marley was born, of course, I'm just blubbering like a maniac, crying my eyes out. It's just a glorious day. Here comes the baby, and then the words were, "It's a girl," and then, next thing I know, it's been 5 minutes, and I'm trying to stop crying.
Right.
And then at some point, the nurse handed me the paperwork to fill in her name. And her name, pre-approved, preordained, was going to be Marley Rose. That's her name. And I'm writing it in, and the nurse goes, "Oh, no, sorry. I'll get you another form." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they were listening to Bob Marley in the post-op procedure. They had 3 little birds playing in the room.
Okay.
And the nurse thought I was just making a game time decision. I heard Bob Marley, so I'm going to name this child Marley. And she begged me to take a few minutes, and I was like, it took me so long. I couldn't even make sense of what she was concerned about. I was like, why wouldn't I name this child Marley? We made this decision a long time ago. If it's a girl, her name's Marley. And she was just like, I know you want to say that. Anyway, long story short, no, that was the preordained name. If I was going to name her after the song, I would have named her Birdie. It was 3 little birds.
I'm happy that you got that moment. Our first came out and didn't breathe for 4 minutes. So there was no crying.
Crazy.
Yeah.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
That's a
It was
really long
unbelievable.
time.
I mean, totally normal, totally fine, but and they said this happens. I was like,
yeah, no.
God. So there was no room for crying. It was more like panic.
I'm not making this up. Marley didn't make a sound for about 4 seconds. That's all. But in that moment of here's the baby, and I don't hear the cry, I don't hear the scream, and I was like, whoa. And then all she was doing was gathering up all the oxygen on planet Earth to then break the windows. That was the loudest baby that has ever lived. Eric with a text here cried tears of sadness when Gary Anderson missed that field goal.
He is not alone.
He is not alone at all.
For a lot of Minnesotans.
Ooh, cried tears of joy when Chelsea FC won their first Champions League title. Man after my own heart. Not the Chelsea bit, but otherwise.
Yeah.
Did not cry at my wedding. Attaboy. Attaboy. Strong right there. Oh, boy, here we go. Yeah, Sarah said same. Shed a tear in 98 when the Vikings lost to the Falcons. Yeah, a lot of those, like you said. George, anytime I watch Rudy, I weep at the end. I've seen it at least 15 times. Never watched it. Never saw it.
Really?
It's about Notre Dame.
Yeah, well, fine.
Not going to do it.
Also an incredible human story. And
I refuse to be invested in a Notre Dame story. I can't do it.
Who was that said that?
That was a guy named George.
George, I'm with you. I've teared up many times at that movie.
Oh, I got choked up at Rudy. Yeah.
Ryder, did you cry at your wedding?
Yeah, but only because he cried first.
Oh, he did cry at the wedding?
Yes, like he started, and that's probably the last time he cried.
The Iceman melteth when he saw you in that dress.
Yes, the black dress.
The black dress,
yeah. So he cried first, and then I cried. Sports, I think the closest I ever got, and it's coming when the Lions cross their finger, do the thing that I'm not going to say out loud because it'll jinx it. Sports, I was watching it, Game 6 of the 2017 Stanley Cup Finals, which you'll recall was Nashville taking on my Pittsburgh Penguins.
I was there.
I know. I talked to Connell about it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And, I think the closest I got was tearing up there. And then I was like, kind of super drunk buying merch online at the time in my basement apartment. And I heard on your end it was not nearly as fun.
No, it was not the same situation at all. The only thing that was okay about it was there was no question who the better team was.
Yeah.
I mean, I went first time I saw them in I was like, we're not beating this team in a 7-game series. That's just not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
I have cried watching soccer more than any other sport for me because those late goals. I mean, goals are so rare. Mm-hmm. The buildup of a goal in a otherwise meaningless regular season game can be very emotional. Like if you've waited 87 minutes and then you break through after all the near misses, all that emotion comes out. It's very normal at a soccer match game, whatever, when you're there to just be in celebration. Tears are just flying out of your face all the time. But it's funny. the Gary Anderson miss, I was cheering for from Atlanta, my band, we were all on tour together watching the game, but Robert Smith was our friend, so we were actually very much cheering for the Vikings. Falcons, no one likes the Falcons in the 90s. There's some Falcons fans now, I guess.
Yeah.
But we were like, but that was devastating for us. I mean, truly, just like, you got to be kidding me, because we were going to perform at the Super Bowl 2 weeks later, so we wanted the Vikings there, so Robert would be, we had this whole thing, like, this will be awesome, we're going to go play the pregame, and no, we had to sit there and watch the Falcons like everybody else, like, sad. Here's another text. I cried when the Twins won the 87 World Series. I didn't cry at my own brother's funeral. Ooh.
Wow, really?
Well, I mean, sometimes it's just too much. Sometimes, the saddest moments in life, sometimes you just can't even begin. You can't even think about opening up that wellspring,
Yeah.
Clamp up a little bit, for sure.
Jill said, I teared up when Rory won the Masters. I'm with you there, Jill. The when I just remembered this, Rosemary woke me up at 6:30 in the morning one day in the fall of 1999 to tell me she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Which I looked over. I was like, what? She's like, wake up. I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, nothing. And I go, what is happening? This was at a time when me waking up at 6:30 in the morning, there better be a fire. And she said, I'm pregnant. And I said, I'm not trying to, I went, okay, awesome. Like, what are you trying to prep me for life with a toddler? Can I go back to sleep now? I was like, I will celebrate this at about 11 o'clock when I wake up. And I wasn't trying to be funny. I didn't think I was being a total douchebag. I rolled right back over and went right back to sleep. And when I did wake up, I was like, wait a minute, she told me she was pregnant. And I was like, hey, wait, that really happened, right? She was just looking at me like, I am not thrilled with you right now, fella. Oh, so many. Larry from Coon Rapids. I also cried at the Penguins-Predators game, but it's because I'm from Pittsburgh and was happy that they won. Right on. All right.
Thanks, Larry.
Plenty of these to get through.
I've got one.
What is it?
I got the wedding. First time I saw her was maybe the only time in my life I had the actual air taken away from me. You do that audible gasp.
Yeah.
Yes.
First time I saw her, it was and then it was just like, oh my God. I don't think I cried, but it was more just like I was astonished and blown away at how she looked. And then you know what? Minnesota. How about this? The Minnesota guy, right? Born and raised here, sports nerd, cried when the Cubs finally won a World Series. The Twins were never.
I had some buddies who did that too.
God, this devotion to Eddie Vedder is limitless, isn't it?
It's not Eddie Vedder, but that's good.
Good Lord.
No, dude.
Heard it all.
The Twins were never on TV, so guess what it was coming home every day from junior high? Harry Carey and Steve Stone from Wrigley Field.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah,
I get it.
when they finally. Dude, and that Game 7 is one of the greatest Game 7s of baseball history.
651-989-ROCK. Let us know. Did you cry at your wedding? What sport events have made you tear up? We're feeling Minnesota. Headlines coming up.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
It is Friday, April the 18th. Good morning.
Woo!
Very, very, very happy to be with you on a Friday. Happy most days. Usually a little happier on Friday. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, same.
And then I come in Monday on fire, but I'm faking it. I have to pretend I'm really happy to be on the morning, on the air on the mornings on Monday. The rest of the week, though, it's just a downhill run, man. And here we are. We've done our job. We've safely delivered everybody to the weekend. Mm-hmm. Let's get to it. We're feeling Minnesota. Paul, what's happening out there?
It's the final step of the 5-step program to the weekend, is what I like to say.
Okay.
You could call it the trickle-down effect, if you will, of a tough economy and the changing state budget situation. Minnesota State schools are weighing whether to raise tuition at its 26 colleges and 7 universities in 26-27 by anywhere from 3.5% to 9%, the highest proposed tuition hike in more than a decade.
Yowza.
Yeah, that's oof. I mean, that's it's reaction. It's reaction. Yep. Astronomers detected possible hints of the existence of life on a distant planet using the James Webb Space Telescope. Man, we've talked a lot about that James Webb Telescope the last 2 weeks. The chemicals dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl disulfide, considered biosignatures, were found in the atmosphere of the exoplanet K2-18b, located just a mere 124 light years from Earth. Those chemicals indicate possible microbial life.
K218B?
Yeah.
Call me when it's Mars, okay? Seriously, K218. Oh, band name. Hold on. K218. No, too confusing.
It's only 124 light years from Earth.
What'd they find? Diethyl methylhydrazine? What was it called?
You're going to make me say it. Dimethyl sulfide.
Okay.
And disulfide. Those are possible
are
microbial life chemicals.
Are these alien farts? Is that basically what we're getting into?
Sounds like it.
Sounds like, yeah, for sure.
Or alien LSD, it sounds like.
Maybe. Taco Bell is reviving its crispy chicken nuggets after a wildly successful and brief debut last December. What?
I had that momentary nth of a second. Oh my God! I thought you were going to say enchilado, but you didn't. Still waiting for the return of the enchilado, man.
Sorry,
they gave you the little spork. It had the black olives. Come on, that was awesome.
The development. This is the best part of the story. The development team tried more than 50 recipes before for the breading, I should say, of this nugget before landing on a tortilla chip coating. It sounds like tortilla chip was their first. It's Taco Bell.
Yeah.
How is that not the first decision? They believe, this is crazy, Taco Bell believes nuggets can become a $5 billion menu category by 2030. So they're all in on nuggets.
Yeah.
Since moving to Minnesota, my wife and I recognized I haven't had Taco Bell in years. I mean, it's been there was a moment when I just honestly made the decision, I've had enough. Whatever the quota is, I passed it years ago. I can't have more Taco Bell.
Okay.
I've never lived anywhere in my adult life, and even as a kid, that was more than a mile from a Taco Bell until I got to Minnesota. I have had a Taco Bell right around the corner everywhere I've ever lived, including when I lived in Brooklyn. It's like it's just been there, and we got here, and I'd already given up Taco Bell, but at some point it dawned on me, like, I don't know where one is. The closest one's like New Brighton. It's a few miles. I would have to work hard.
The closest one to you is New Brighton?
Yeah,
it's not that far actually.
No, it's not that. It's just a few miles. But again, I retired. I was championship belt secured years ago. My weight in Taco Bell every month for the better part of 30 years. But it's over. But I'm just saying, it was hard. There was always one right around the corner.
Yeah, I don't largely eat a ton of it either, but every now and then a chili cheese burrito just has to happen.
Nah, I stayed with the classic, just bean burritos, man. That was it.
Same.
Yeah, and back when they would put the green sauce inside for you. Oh. All right, what else, Paul?
You do sound like a champion.
Yeah,
Holy smokes.
Dude, trust me. I'm
what
broke
else?
records.
Sports from you, sir. That's what I've.
I got some sports notes.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Wild and the Vegas Golden Knights will drop the puck Sunday night at 9 p.m.
So dumb. Hey,
NHL,
you know
guys.
At least it's not 10 p.m. on Tuesday. That's unreal.
You know who's not watching hockey? Kids on the West Coast. You know who wants to watch hockey? Kids in the Midwest and the East Coast.
How about adults in the Midwest? Good Lord.
Thank you. But I mean, let's grow the sport or not. I mean, I'm sorry, man. But figure it out. At 10 p.m. Eastern puck drop on a playoff game.
Oh, yeah, for the game one, yeah.
Silly. But it should be a good series. Matt Boldy, we need you to step up, brother. 12 playoff games, 1 goal and 3 assists so far. This is the year. You had a great season, career high in points. Let's go, Matthew.
We talked yesterday a lot about how the NHL playoffs are second season.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? Great regular season doesn't mean anything. It's time for him he's at a point now in his career he needs to step up.
The Ant-Man has had a heck of a regular season, led the league in 3-pointers, and somehow it seems a lot of people are unaware of that. He decided last season, I'm going to get really good at shooting threes, and he did at basically a 40% clip, which is what you hope your 3-pointers, you hope to see a guy averaging that, and he led the league. There's going to be a lot of double teams. I think the Lakers are going to have one basic defensive philosophy, which is don't let Ant go off. Yeah. They're going to trust that Julius Randle and the rest of the guys won't do enough damage. So I would imagine Ant's going to see a million double teams. Hopefully he's getting rid of the ball quickly in the possessions. The Minnesota Lynx have a new player. Her name is Carly Samuelson, and she had a great 90s moment boarding a flight in Spain when the trade happened. She did not have Wi-Fi on the plane, so she went the better part of 10 hours not knowing she was a member of the Minnesota Lynx. When she landed, her phone had 1 billion phone calls and text messages and everything, and she just saw the number of notifications, called her sister and said, was I traded? First thing, she goes, yeah, you're going to Minnesota. So welcome to town, Carly.
Excellent.
That is excellent.
It's so old school.
I know it. That's what I mean. That's why I love it. It's absolutely old school. Bloomington, Minnesota, good morning. Thinking of you this morning.
Hell yeah.
Glad to know that our friends from Bloomington are right there with us.
God, they used to have a great record store in Bloomington, Northern Lights.
Northern Lights.
Oh, it was so great. That's where I won't say what album I got there because
Pot or not? Yeah, that's pot. You bet your life it is. We're giving away, Stevie Nicks tickets later in the show?
They're like primo Stevie Nicks tickets.
Primo.
They're like $250. You're really going to have to work for them.
That's going to be a lot of fun. We're also talking to a guy in the last hour of the show named Beecher Vaillancourt. He will answer any questions you have about the legalization in the state of Minnesota. He is a part of he helped to write the bill, if I'm not mistaken, to get that. He is an expert on all things marijuana legalization. We'll get him in the final hour. Right now, we're talking about moments in sports that made us cry, or your own wedding. Dudes, did you cry at your wedding? And have you cried over a ball game? 651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line.
92 KQRS.
We had some audio earlier of a woman who called into a radio station to complain about her husband. Basically, it was this. At their wedding, he did not shed a tear. Even after his new father-in-law gave an amazing speech, a beautiful speech, when he saw his wife in her wedding dress the first time, stoic, got through the ceremony, stoic, not a tear. And she was like, well, I guess he just doesn't show his emotions. But last Sunday, when Rory McIlroy finally won the Masters, she said he was blubbering like a child.
Bring on the waterworks.
She is pissed. So it begs the question, did you cry at your own wedding?
Reasonable.
Have you cried because of a sporting event? I've cried at concerts. I've cried watching music makes me cry all the time. I've seen performances when I least expect it, but something will just wash over me.
Yeah.
And it just, the whole world disappears into that moment of a song. There's nothing quite like it.
She's got a rational argument here.
She does have a rational argument. It's like, I mean, but
she? Okay.
Well, I mean, I think that maybe she could have paid a little more attention to some, clues along the way. He's not going to probably shed a tear at the wedding. I mean, you spend a little time with somebody, you kind of figure it out, I would think, especially if you're planning to marry them, how they go about showing emotion.
Maybe
that's fair.
Maybe she should have followed golf more closely. Then she would have cried too.
Rich said he did not cry at his own wedding, but I plan to at our daughter's wedding on May 17th. Oh, that's nice.
He's already planning.
Yeah. Congrats, Taylor and Max. The old man's going to ball. Okay, That's good.
I love that.
That is very good.
I plan to.
All right, this one I can relate to. Good morning. Tears when my 5-year-old son achieved his first hit at a T-ball game.
Oh,
there we go.
Sure. He went into his own world running slow motion to first base, only watching his arms and legs. I never saw first base till he stepped on it. I was the sobbing, cheering dad yelling go. Of course you were.
It is so easy with the kids. Like they do the smallest things and I get choked up. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable how it's such a deep rooted love.
It is. Here's a text. I cried when Brett Favre threw interception in 2009 against the Saints in the NFC Championship game.
Across the body.
Then I got drunk.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say I cried when we signed Brett Favre.
Yeah, wow.
But
that was a fun season, though.
That was just an inevitability.
But as they say,
yes,
live by the Favre, die by the Favre. That's what we said all year.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of Gary Anderson crying texts. There's a lot of 87 and 91 Twins texts. The two World Series.
Oh man, I sat and watched the 87 Twins with Mom together. That was pretty special for sure. Gary Anderson, I was too pissed. I couldn't cry. I was too angry. Yeah. I was sitting with two friends watching the game. I got up off the couch after the Falcons hit their field goal. Yep. Got up off the couch, walked out, didn't say a word to those two. I just walked out.
That's tough,
Walked out of his house.
These things are tough. Jimmy texted, I cried at Dylan and AC/DC. How could I not?
Yeah.
Tears at AC/DC. Kate, I've seen them a lot. Never thought to cry.
I didn't cry at
just
AC/DC
having too good
either. Yeah.
I saw Bob Dylan last year over at Somerset with Willie and John Mellencamp.
Yeah.
And didn't cry, but had a few absolute goosebump moments. I mean, very much he played Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, and my wife and I are just like, you got to be kidding me. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Pretty great stuff right there. I imagine there'll be some folks crying when they see Stevie Nicks on stage this year. I've never seen Stevie on her own or with Fleetwood Mac. It's probably time I do something about that. But with all of the impact and all of the emotion and all of the love there is for that woman, I imagine there will be some tears falling at that gig. And, oh, gosh, I don't know. Why don't we give away some Stevie Nicks tickets? That's going to happen very, very shortly.
It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
August 19th, XL Energy Center, or whatever it will be called by then. Because if you didn't hear, XL is giving up the naming rights. There's going to be a new name for that shack by then, most likely.
Can't believe they would do that.
Stevie Nicks will be performing, and we have two Primo. I like the Primo. Primo tickets to give away right now. We've got a couple of callers locked in and loaded. We're going to play a game called Pot or Not, which is exactly what you think it's going to be. First up, Rose from Inver Grove Heights. Rose, are you with us?
Yep.
Very glad to have you on the horn right now. We also have Brian from Vadnais Heights. Brian, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go back and forth. Rose, then Brian. Rose, then Brian. You each get 5 rounds. I am going to give you a name that is either actually a strain of marijuana or it's not. It's either real or we made it up. Are you guys ready to play?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Are either of you stoned right now?
No.
No.
Okay, you had to think about it, Brian. You had to think about it for a second. All right, let's get to it. All right, Rose, good luck to you both. Rose, you're up first. Your first pot or not, Gorilla Glue.
Not.
Sorry to say it is. That is pot, my friend.
Wow.
Shoot.
Wow.
All right, you keeping score there, Fletch?
I got it. I'm on it.
All right. Brian, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Alien.
I'm going to say yes.
Bingo, baby. That is pot. All right. Very well done. Oh, by the way, we were discussing earlier things that have made us cry. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, cried like a baby in the theater.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That movie's incredible. All right. Back to Rose. Let's get back on that horse.
Come on, Rose. You got this.
Purple Rain. Rain with an E on the end. Purple Rain. Pot or not?
Pot.
That is pot.
That is, yeah.
Spoken like someone who knows her business. All right, Brian, you're up next. Behind Blue Eyes. Pot or not? Behind Blue Eyes.
I'm going to say not.
Not. Very well played, yeah. Behind Red Eyes, sure. All right, round 3. Rose, Screaming Red Robin. Pot or not?
I'm going to say pot.
Oh, I'm sorry to say not.
Wow.
That sounded like a real one.
I was shaking my head up and down like crazy there.
All right, Brian, your third.
We're at 2-1 Brian right now.
2-1 Brian. Brian, here we go. Purple Monkey Balls. Purple Monkey Balls.
I'm going to say yes.
It is indeed.
Oh!
It is indeed pot. Man.
Brian is 3 for 3.
All right. You're still in this one, Rose. Yep. But I don't think you have room for error moving forward. Okay.
Nope, I don't.
Here we go. Bob Saget OG. Bob Saget OG. Pot or not?
Yes.
Atta girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Still swinging. Still coming out swinging.
Saget,
I like that.
Love the Kush.
He was a solicitor and an imbiber for sure.
And a champion.
All right. Brian, here we go. Gordie Howe hat trick. Pot or not?
I'm going to say not.
That is correct. My man Brian knows his strains.
Yeah.
We're gonna play out the side here. Rose, last chance. Girl Scout cookies. Pot or not?
I'm going to say pot.
It is pot.
Boom.
Wow.
There you go.
That surprised me.
And then Brian, let's finish it out.
We can run the table.
Let's run the table here, brother.
Right.
Slap and tickle. Slap and tickle. Pot or not?
I'm going to say not.
Oh, it is.
Really?
It is. It is pot. You missed on running the table, but I'm pretty sure you did take home the bacon.
It was 4. Brian had 4. Rose had 3. So it was close. Hard fought by Rose. You stuck in there. Didn't quit. But yeah, Brian gets it.
Well done, Rose. Brian, congrats, brother. You got 2 very nice seats to see Stevie Nicks August the 19th. Have yourself a fine night with that one, brother. Thank you guys both for calling in and playing.
And pack some for the game or for the show.
I'm going to ask you, Fletcher. There was a tiebreaker question just in case.
Okay.
And I want to see how close you come to this.
All right.
How many documented slang words are there for cannabis? Documented like
slang words.
Slang words for cannabis.
And it's a nice round number.
Just a straight up nice round number. That's
15,000.
Right. 15,000 he went with. Wow. 1,200.
1,200.
Yeah.
Well, I had the 1 and the 2 zeros right.
You did. You were close. It was over 1,000. I would have said 800 or 600 or something. I wouldn't have gone nearly that high.
I had no basis for that whatsoever. No clue.
I think the way they determine that is just basically sit around with a bunch of stoners, and most of the words they say, you would go, oh, he means his weed. That's slang for weed.
Right. That's why I assumed the number would be so absurdly high.
These things happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I love giving away tickets. I love the joy. I love spreading the joy with concert tickets.
Yeah.
What better thing could there be?
And silly, fun games like that are a blast. I'll keep score anytime you guys need.
I'm sorry, what was silly about that? This is our job, dude. We're here. This is a public service. We're giving away concert tickets. It's Stevie Nicks. She's a witch, for God's sake. She'll turn you into a newt.
All of that is correct.
Can't believe
all of that is correct.
The silly part about that was how long I had to spend working on the knot clues, because there are so many strains of marijuana. I was going to do Back in Black as a knot, and then I found out it was actually pot.
Of course.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually a ton of behind-the-scenes work there. You can't, especially if there's 15,000 document, which there aren't. But, yeah. The vehicle was silly. What we do is not. It's very serious. You're right. But the vehicle for it was kind of silly, and it was awesome, and it was fun.
He's backpedaling. He's backpedaling hard.
No, I'm sticking to my guns.
I'm feeling Minnesota. We got some headlines coming up very, very soon.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Happy Friday. Glad to have you with us as we're rolling into the weekend with a lot of things on deck, which we'll talk about momentarily. Right now, there's some things that are happening concurrently, or I should say currently. We're feeling Minnesota. Headlines. Paul, please.
Yes, we will do this right now. Multiple fire crews responded last night to fires at the Minnesota Renaissance Festival grounds. 5 connected wood structures containing 12 storefronts were burned down. That's the bad news. Crews had it under control within 2 hours. The good news is no injuries were reported. The state fire marshal is on the investigation. They're still unsure of what caused it.
That's kicking it old school for sure, Renaissance style. Wooden buildings, no fire hydrants.
Fire, yeah.
They're living it. They're walking it like they're talking it. No, that's terrible. The Renaissance Festival, kicks off in August?
Yeah, a special place for a lot of Minnesotans, so hopefully they can. I would think that they can get these rebuilt. I mean, I'm not trying to be, insensitive to the situation, but let's get it going for August.
There'll be some people out there. There'll be some hammers and some nails and some whatnots.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
A federal judge yesterday ruled Google did violate antitrust laws by illegally dominating online advertising markets with its technology. The decision paves the way for U.S. prosecutors to seek a breakup of the conglomerate, the massive conglomerate. The court found Google unlawfully monopolized 2 parts of the online advertising market, publisher tools and the software connecting those publishers to advertisers. Google did so by forcing publishers to use both products together, making it difficult for rivals to compete.
Good. Break them up.
Yep, and then let's
chop them down.
Let's go after Meta next.
All of them.
Yep, and let's break things down.
I thought it was bad when like oil barons and train barons and people like that ran the world. Tech bros make those look like the good old days. I can't stand the tech bro. All of them. No,
they're
monopolizing, and because you know what. Coal and oil and trains and all that, they didn't impact the way we thought moment to moment. We didn't get addicted to staring at coal reports. These apps, these tech people, way too much influence there. I'm an old man, salty. No, it's true though. It's ridiculous. They've co-opted all this crap.
That has anything to do with how old you are.
Okay,
I think there's
good.
a lot of people feeling that feeling.
Yeah, no question about it. All right.
Easter is coming up. 57% of adults would love to compete in an Easter egg hunt this year.
Okay. Fair enough. 57% of adults missed out. That's, you know what?
Because we're going to put little nugs inside the Easter, because it's on 420, so will those plastic eggs have like a little nugget in them?
Nice.
Little buds, if you will.
At least a gummy or two.
Oh, that works.
Gummy eggs. Okay. All right. Gummy eggs. Yeah. I'll look for one.
Maybe. 62%. This one gets me. 62% of adults would like their own Easter basket.
Okay.
Who doesn't want free candy?
Here's the thing. Overload your kids' Easter basket and then do what 80% of parents admit to doing, stealing candy from their kids each year. It's a parent tax. It's part of growing up.
Yeah, I get. It's I don't know.
I can't imagine laying an Easter basket out on the floor for my wife to go through. Like, it's just. Nonsense.
Yeah, I feel the same way, except now that I'm thinking about it, I have a feeling that my wife would love that. I think she would, if she woke up Sunday and there was an Easter basket with her name, I think she would do a backflip. Woman's got a sweet tooth. I'm just saying.
Well, you know what? And wives appreciate thought like that, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Maybe I'm going to do that for my wife. Completely surprise her.
Well, we'll see.
Okay. I'm not falling into the 62%, though. I don't need one for myself. The likelihood of those Easter baskets containing Reese's peanut butter eggs, 26%. Those are the most popular Easter candy. Can you guess what number 2 is?
Cadbury eggs.
Cadbury eggs? I was going to say the nasty marshmallow things.
Peeps.
Oh, Peeps. Yeah, you know what? Those don't show up, which is weird because we eat I think I saw 1.5 million Peeps over Easter, yet that doesn't show up in the top 5. Number 2 is chocolate Easter bunnies and Cadbury cream eggs tied for number 2. Jelly beans are 4th, and robin eggs, which are just glorified Whoppers.
Do you know the Peeps hack where you take them and put them into the campfire?
No.
And I hate Peeps until somebody did this for me.
Yeah, because it caramelizes, right?
Caramelizes all that sugar on the outside.
Okay.
And if you're a savory person, this is real good for you.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Yeah, yes.
I thought you were going to say my Peeps hack, which is you take them out of the wrapper and you put them in the trash can.
Yeah. I saw that one coming.
Yeah, just like, no thanks.
I love them.
All right, I might caramelize a Peep or two.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. I want to try that.
First positive Peep information I've ever received. Yeah.
Oh, it is Friday after all.
Yeah. You good?
I'm good.
Let's talk about some sports.
Do it.
Or as I prefer to say, sports. How about this? How about the Minnesota Wild? Game 1 against the Vegas Golden Knights. It's Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central.
Can we just get a 2 a.m. puck drop or something like that?
What about the fans of either of these teams who have moved themselves into the Eastern time zone? 10 p.m. Central puck drop. NHL, come on. I mean, I know of the big 4, it's number 4. And I know that TV's not easy to negotiate, et cetera, et cetera. But a 9 p.m. Central Sunday night puck drop is ridiculous.
It's been going on for years. It's absolutely maddening.
Yep.
You can have some games playing on top of each other. We don't have to spread them all out. It's I hate it. I hate it so much I can't even stand it.
I fully agree. Stack them up, man. Let the people. I mean, if you're a kid and you love the Minnesota Wild and it's a school night and it's a 9 p.m. puck drop, you might get the first period in if you're a 10-year-old hockey obsessive fan. But at some point, you're going to have to hit the sack. It's ridiculous. So the man I'm going to be watching in this series is Matt Boldy. 4th season, he had a career-high 73 points, 27 goals. Very, very nice. 10-game winners. I mean, he had a very, very solid season. However, in 2 previous playoff appearances, 1 goal and 3 assists in 12 games. Need Boldy to step up, deliver the kind of hockey we saw all season long. As you said, it's the second season, so there's no guarantees. It's like starting over from scratch. But come on, dude, bring that A game.
Yeah, and he had some crucial goals this year among the league-leading 27 that he had. We're going to need some crucial goals from him against the Knights. I can guarantee you that.
That certainly checks out. The Lakers-Wolves series kicks off over the weekend as well tomorrow. The Lakers prohibitive favorites, although, it's funny. Everybody's predicting the Lakers to win, but it's a lot of 6 and 7 game predictions. People think it's going to be a very tight series. I think the Lakers have one simple plan, and that's just limit Anthony Edwards. It's like contain him, and if Dante and Julius Randle want to beat us, okay, so be it. But we're going to keep Ant-Man in check. Not as easy done as they may think. Anthony Edwards did lead the league in 3-pointers made this season at a 39% clip, which is extraordinary. And of course, he's still pretty good at getting that ball to the rack as well. So I expect Anthony Edwards now, the seasoned veteran that he is, I think he's going to have a very consistent series. I hope the best for him. And
got to keep those emotions under control.
This.
We've talked about that.
Yep. Remember this. In the NBA, like Jason Tatum, 27 the first time he gets a ring? It's 27, 28, 29 before people really do dominate and lead teams to championships. That was Michael Jordan's path. Mm-hmm. Magic got one early, but he had Kareem on his team. I mean, that was a very different thing. It is normally late in your 20s before you actually are the man on a championship team. Don't get impatient with Anthony Edwards. He's still one of the NBA's true talents, and he's got plenty of time left.
So you're saying I can just ignore the next couple of years of series and just...
I would not do that at all. I wouldn't feel disappointed if he doesn't cash it in. That's what I'm saying.
But you know how much we like to feel disappointed by our sports team.
That's it. It's definitely in the air and the water. Finally, the Minnesota Lynx have a new player, Carly Samuelson. They traded for her. She came over from Washington, and she had a wonderful old-school moment. She was making her way home from Europe, where she plays in the WNBA offseason on a team in Turkey. She was in Spain competing in a tournament. Game ends. She gets up the next day, goes to the airport, gets on a plane. The plane, as it turns out, does not have Wi-Fi. She spends 10 hours blissfully unaware of the fact that she's now a member of the Minnesota Lynx. She was the last person on earth to know, because when she landed in North Carolina, turned her phone on, it blew up and exploded, and it was like, what is this? The first thing she did before reading any of the many texts and emails, she called her sister and said, have I been traded? She goes, yeah, you're on the Lynx now. And by the way, not a bad, that's good news. If you're going to wait for news, make it good news, because she just came to a hell of a team. Yeah, and apparently she's a bit of a baller herself. I want to say good morning to our friends in Plymouth, Minnesota.
Plymouth. Good spot. Drive through it every day.
Isn't that nice?
Beautiful. It's a beautiful suburb.
I got a good buddy out in Plymouth. Been there a few times.
Yeah. Either of you ever stop at that Northern Tap House and get one of those ridiculously large Bloody Marys? Like the $100 Bloody Mary?
I've not had it, but I know of what you speak.
No, just I've raised some hell and done some pull tabs at the Wild Bills, though.
All right.
Oh, very nice.
Pull tabs are so great.
Yeah.
I love pull tabs.
Do you really?
Oh, God.
Just born in, bred right into you.
Yeah, it's you know what? Quite honestly, we've talked about the hockey community a lot in the 2 weeks that we've been doing this. Yeah. It's just a part of the hockey community. Guys go skate together, go grab some beverages after, and everybody pulls together, and you buy 1,000 pull tabs and hope that you pull out, at least your money back, maybe.
Fletcher, what's the most you've ever won playing pull tabs?
Oh, God, this is another story for another day. But
all right,
sounds like it's a story for right now.
$3,000.
Jeez.
You know what?
Go, man.
Here's the problem. We roughly sunk in about $3,000 to get that $3,000.
Whatever, man. Breaking even at $3,000, like,
dude, that's
still lucky.
It's not. It's like we walked away. We did all this work, and we walked away with about $100 in each other's pockets.
The best stories have parts that we just forget. And if I were telling that story, I'd say $3,000, man. It was awesome. Yeah. That's all anybody needs to know. I won $3,000 in pull tabs,
but
Jack.
It does give context, though, when you say, we had 2 tickets that were $1,000 each.
Yeah.
And we still broke even. That's pathetic, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
We were watching Ryder Sidney Crosby in the playoffs.
Come on, brother. Sand down the edges on that one. Next time it comes up, just stick to the $3,000.
Okay, fair enough. We'll do
So we're all going to be really happy for you. I look forward to hearing about it. What's the coolest thing you ever found? I'm curious. 651-989-ROCK. Hit us up on the text line. And I'm thinking about that because a couple of brothers were walking along the coast of a very remote island in the Bahamas. Okay? They're beachcombers. They're dudes that spend time looking for stuff at the beach.
They're good at it.
I imagine they've found a lot of coins, some shells, who knows what. And then the two of them are on different parts of the beach. They're in touch via walkie-talkie. And one of them sees something in the water. He's like, hey, is that a bottle? Yes, it is. He pulls it in. And not only is it a bottle, it's a bottle with a message inside. Here's a little bit of
I hear my walkie-talkie crackle to life. And my brother says something like, you're not going to believe what I just found.
We got to find this guy and hear the story.
And with a little help from social media.
I'm going to hand the phone over to Mr. Peter Thompson.
No way!
Hey, Clint, how's it going?
It's amazing. It's almost 50 years later. It's a big surprise.
Peter Thompson, as a 14-year-old student in 1976, put a message in a bottle, wrote a letter, or put it in a bottle, corked that bad boy shut, and threw it into the water off the coast of Massachusetts. And all these years later, 49 years later, it was found in the Bahamas. That's just cool.
It is. Do we know what was in the letter?
Yeah, actually, sadly, no, I don't. It was a note where it's like, just talking about life, I would imagine.
Roller skates, mood rings, Jaws.
That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
He said, I have very fond memories of my oceanography class, but he didn't even remember having written the letter and put it in the bottle.
That was the bummer part. I was like, he didn't even remember.
Or he was just so embarrassed by what he wrote that he wants to pretend he doesn't remember.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's like this is a message in a bottle. I'm in 9th grade and I love Cheryl McLemore. You can just see it like, oh, dude, poor guy.
What's more amazing that this guy Clint Buffington? Mm-hmm. They say he's an experienced beachcomber. He's found more than 100 messages in bottles across North America. That's mind-boggling.
That really is incredible.
100?
I didn't know 100 million bottles, I believe is what Sting said in the song. I never did a message in a bottle. When I was a kid in elementary school, we did a thing every year called the balloon ascent. It was just a thing. The whole kindergarten through 4th grade at my elementary school walked out onto the blacktop, and we all had giant helium balloons, and attached to the string was just a card with our name and our phone number and our address.
Yep.
And the whole thing was we would let them go, and a billion all the balloons would fill the sky, and they would float away. And the whole point was, and again, this is going back to the 70s, somebody would find that card when the balloon finally landed at Earth, and then hopefully they would call or send you a note and say, because it said on there, if you find this, please let us know where you found it.
Yep.
So you could determine, did my balloon go 10 miles or 100 miles or 1,000 miles? And so I did this in 1st grade. I did it in 2nd grade. I did it in 3rd grade. Nothing ever. I mean, never hurt. But what the 3rd grade balloon ascent, several days later, on a Sunday night, the Gorman family, the house phone rings, and my mom answers it. And as was the tradition of the time, hello, Gormans, which is what you said. Mm-hmm. And then I heard her go, oh, my goodness, yes, I'll get him. Steven. And I'm like, Steven? I don't get phone calls, and I sure as hell don't get them on Sunday night. And it was an old dude in West Virginia who had my balloon.
No way. Your balloon buddy.
And he called to tell me that he found my balloon. And when she said, honey, someone found your balloon, he's calling long distance. Like, hurry up, get here.
Yeah, hurry up.
And she's looking at the clock like, okay, you're going to chat for a second, but that's it. I walked to that phone. You would have thought, in my mind, it was the Pope was calling. I was like, oh, my God. I took that phone. I can still remember the feeling of, hello, this is Steve.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, hey, I found your balloon, I found your card, and I'm in a holler in West Virginia. That's what he sounded like. Mm-hmm. And I thought I'd call and let you know. And I was like, that's amazing. And my mom's like, okay, hang up, honey. Thank you for the call. Because, it was like time is money, literally, in the old days on a long-distance call.
1,000%. Unless it was late. Remember, it got a little cheaper then. I did the same thing. You'll be happy to know that tradition carried into the 80s. I'm not sure how much it went beyond me, but I did this. I think we did it in 2 different grades. I never heard anything
back. That's a bummer.
It was fun to get to do all that possibility that floated off into the air. Yeah, it was a blast. I loved doing that.
No, they build your hopes up and then they're just dashed by the reality that no one ever found your balloon.
Sent your personal information out of that's freaking me out. My mom was like, don't put your name on your backpack, strangers will see it kind of deal. This is blowing my mind. Just it's out there for everybody to dox you or whatever.
It was the 70s, man. Every now and again you had a Manson family, but otherwise everybody was cool back then.
Yeah, it was all good.
That was the good times. What's the coolest thing you ever found? 651-989-ROCK. Some beachcombers in the Bahamas found a message in a bottle written in 1976, placed into a bottle and thrown off the coast of Massachusetts. And 49 years later, that bad boy was still airtight, watertight, I should say, in the Bahamas. What's the coolest thing you ever found? 651-989-ROCK. Bill in Pine City is on the horn. Bill, good morning, sir.
How you doing this morning?
All is well. What have you got for us, brother?
Well, excuse me. In 1960, my parents bought property up in northwest Ontario. And when I was at the age of about 10 years old, I and a small girlfriend of mine decided we were going to go out, take a walk in the woods and go explore. Mm-hmm. And at that time and years prior, they'd been doing core sampling and sampling for minerals, so on and so forth, and doing mining. Excuse me, sorry about that. Thought I was my dream was to be educated out in the woods with a girl that I had a crush on. Go out in the woods. And we're back about 2-3 miles into the woods, and we find a camp spot where the miners and surveyors had been staying. Okay. And we find a big stainless steel cooler.
All right.
And it's all duct taped.
Like it?
And the duct tape had been starting to peel off. We thought it stated diamonds.
Yeah.
And we're like, when we hit the jackpot, we open up the cooler, and here there's sticks that are in there, 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches diameter, all kind of fuzzy looking.
Okay.
Didn't dawn on us. Here it was dynamite that they had left out there.
Yes.
And thank God we didn't throw a stone in it or what.
Yeah.
Because we were out there screwing around, trying to. And, so we end up, closed the cooler, went off through our little venture, came back, started telling our parents what we had found, that we found a case, and it's, a cooler that we thought it said diamonds.
Yep.
And they're like, diamonds, I think there were B's and B, S's and S.
Yeah.
Well, we started explaining exactly what was actually in the cooler, and that, we were just guessing what it stated on the duct tape, that it, most of it partially peeled off. Well, they finally came to the conclusion. It was dynamite that the actual surveyors had left out there years ago.
Wow.
And that was still dry, but again, it started crystallizing, i.e., there's nitroglycerin on the exterior of those sticks of dynamite.
So, Bill, what'd your parents do?
Well, they had to call the OPP, Ontario Provincial Police, and then they had to get the mounted police involved in it, bomb squad involved in it.
Holy moly.
And unfortunately, I never got a chance to have the boom goes of dynamite or even get to watch them blow up the dynamite. But they had to go out and actually detonate it, out in the woods, because it was too dangerous to even move the cooler in the condition the dynamo was in.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, that's going to be hard to beat. Thank you for the call. When I was a kid,
that's amazing.
If you said, "Oh, hey, you're going to go find a trunk of dynamite in the woods today," that would have been the greatest day of my life.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, and they had to come out, but they didn't let you watch the blast. That's the bummer right there, man.
Such a letdown.
The OPP, Ontario Provincial Police, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. On the Sgt. Pepper album cover, McCartney's got an OPP patch on his blue suit. Could be wrong. For some reason, that just spurred a memory in my brain. I found a coin when I was a kid. I was just reminded of this. This is as dumb as it gets for me as a kid. I found the house across the street from me in my neighborhood. There was a creek, and we used to all go play in and around the creek all the time. Bring our G.I. Joes over there, and we had a little boat, and we tried to float it down the boat like in the TV commercials and could never make it work well at all. But we would be in the creek, and I found it was a coin just in the mud one day, and it was kind of a weird-looking coin, and I brought it to school the next day or a couple days later. It was just in my pocket because, of course, you just have crap in your pocket.
Yeah.
And I pulled it out, and a kid in my class named Bobby Henstrand goes, "What's that coin?" And I said, "I found it behind the Hess's house in my neighborhood." And he goes, "Where's it from?" And I said this to him. "I think it's a Civil War coin. There used to be a mint around there. They used to make coins here from around the Civil War." I just said that because I was a knucklehead. And he goes, "Oh, my God, really?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I want to come look." And I go, "Yeah, come over to the creek, man. We find coins all the time." I'm just having a laugh at this kid's expense. He shows up that afternoon with his father.
Wow.
And his father's like, "Where are all these coins?" And I'm like,
serious.
"Oh, my God." I'm in 3rd or 4th grade, and a dad is at my front door asking me about the coins. And how did I know they used to make coins there? And I was like, "It's over behind the Hess's house, that creek. Yeah, just go check it out." And I just sent them on their way and was like in my room like, "I'm going to be killed now. I have lied to an adult about a coin." It was just one of those things. And it didn't come back up again. I'm sure they went over there, dug around, and the dad goes, "This is a goose chase." Yeah. Did not come back and rat me out to my own parents, thank God, but I was sweating bullets. Just, man, what gets into a kid?
He thinks he's going to strike it rich, and you let him down.
I know. I was like, I look at it now. I'm like, you're an adult. Come on, don't go ask a 9-year-old about the mint that you never knew existed there or whatever. Yeah. The coin foundry, whatever the hell you'd call it.
He should have smelt your BS.
He really. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's absolutely on him.
But you don't think about that when you're a kid. You're just freaking out because because what you did. Of
course,
you don't think of the consequences of what you say, and then don't think that that he should have figured it out for himself.
I didn't know I could have looked him in the eye and said, "Well, sir, the truth is, I'm not a fan of your son, and I just wanted to lie to him." I didn't want to say that to him. What's the coolest thing you ever found? We just had a great call. Finding dynamite in the woods when you're a kid? I mean, come on.
I'm just bummed he didn't realize it at the time because he's so wrapped up with trying to hook up with this girl.
I know. And didn't he say he was 10 years old? Did I make that up? Did he say 10? I feel like he did. But then
I remember him saying 10, but
yeah, man.
Maybe we're starting to pop holes in his story.
No telling. Yeah, Bill, thanks for that call. So he found a bunch of dynamite up in the woods. This all started because of a message in a bottle that was found in the Bahamas, a 49-year-old note in a bottle that somebody someone just picked up. Here's one from Tom. I got a dollar bill with a Where's George number. Remember the Where's George thing on the dollar bills?
Yeah.
It had been around the East Coast. I came across it in Minnesota. It had been all around the East Coast. That was actually kind of interesting. It is amazing when you do that Where's George and you realize like just dollars just go everywhere.
Yeah.
One bill can be
how fast they can circulate over the course of like 5-6 states. It's crazy.
And how much cocaine is on all of them?
A whole lot.
Yeah.
That's always the craziest part.
Is it dollar bills though? I mean, generally it's a 20 or a 50, right?
Well, I don't know. I was going to say a C-note. I don't know what kind of parties you're going to.
Sorry. Not a lot of cocaine parties, unfortunately.
Here's something kind of cool. I didn't realize this. Somebody just talking about things we found. I talked about letting balloons go with my home and my home address and phone number as a kid, hoping somebody would call you. In April of 2012, Jack White, the musician Jack White, released 1,000 balloons with flexi disc records attached to distribute the single Freedom at 21. Very few have ever been found, less than 100.
Oh, gee.
Wow.
Those are going to be real expensive if you do find one.
I think that's exactly right.
That's eBay all day.
Interesting find. I was in Panama at the beach playing in the water. I stepped on something, picked them up. It was a $120 pair of Oakley sunglasses. That's nice.
Nice score.
Take those when you can. I found a $20 bill at a fair as a kid. You know, just I have two $20 bill stories involving going to the fair.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I was just walking down and looked, and there it was on the ground. And before I bent over and picked it up, I looked all around because my first thought was, this is a trap. This is a hidden camera moment. It's something. Somebody is just doing this. And I put my foot on it, and I just stood there for a while, like, doo-doo-doo. And then finally figured it was clear to take the 20 and picked it up. And, man, that was $1,000 to me in 1978 or whatever year it was.
Yeah, a lot of tickets.
I've been sitting on this nugget this entire segment. Like, think of like the times that you find stuff, like a $20 bill that you just around the house that you forgot existed. You're like, that might as well be $100 or $500. You know what I mean?
It's pretty great.
It's the same thing. Like you kind of get that quick endorphin rush of like, oh yeah, where'd this come from?
Here's a good one on the text line. Coolest thing I found was a big roll of dollar bills.
We're talking.
We stopped at a wayside rest area. I took the dog for a walk and found this huge roll of bills. There was a bunch of carnival workers also in the parking lot. Let's go ahead and call them carnies. We know what they are. I went running to show my find to my parents. There was a knock on the door, and a carny asked if I found some money. Dad said no. We took off so fast in that Winnebago. Yeah, you did.
Better get away from those carnies.
Those carnies are coming for you.
They figure out that you have their money.
I can't believe Stephen King never wrote the book about the vengeful carny circuit. You know, there's one out there. They're just they're always losing their money because they're always high as kites, and then they're coming after you for their money. I'm writing a Netflix thriller right now, guys. Take notes.
I can picture it.
Vengeful carnies. Come on.
You're right. I'm actually sitting here instead. I'm thinking like, why haven't we had a movie or a series of some sort like that about? I mean, that's like such an easy.
You know what? I bet it's because the Carney Syndicate, they got friends in powerful places. They don't want those stories getting told.
Sure.
They have friends in the Midway.
You know, one of the great rock and roll found money stories of all time is Aerosmith got a record deal with Columbia Records in like 1973, and they moved into two, and they were in a band house where they all lived, in just a nasty flea-ridden flop house, I would imagine. And Steven Tyler had the song, not Sweet Emo. First album, the big Dream On was in his head, and he would play guitar, and he couldn't quite, and he kept saying, I need a keyboard to get this song out. I got to find a piano. He found in a vacant lot next to their house a briefcase full of cash, or like a shoulder bag full of cash. True story.
There's your piano.
Goes right to the music store, buys a keyboard, takes it home, shows up with a keyboard, writes the song, gets Dream On out of his head. They have a song to go record. Several days later, knock on the door. It's a couple of low-level thugs, mobsters. And they're like, did you guys find a bag of money? He never told anyone else in the band where he got the money. And I would say probably the only time in Steven Tyler's life he ever didn't open his mouth. Yeah. And they all honestly said, we have no idea what you're talking about. They're like, we're living on beans. Yeah. We don't have any extra money. And they left. And that's when he told the guys, yeah, I found all that money, and that's what I bought the piano with. Wow. Pretty good. That's a pretty good one.
And then it led to the most significant part of Dream On, pretty much. Yeah,
pretty much. That's it. That's it. Coolest things you ever found. Oh, by the way, we also want to get your questions. We are going to be discussing the marijuana legalization situation in the state with one of the people behind that very movement in the final hour of the show. If you have questions that you want answered, 651-989-ROCK.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Good Friday morning. It is April the 18th. We're very happy to be with you as we kick off the weekend in style, as I like to say.
God, Soundgarden song, dude. It's so good.
Soundgarden? You like Soundgarden?
I do. I don't mind me some Soundgarden.
It's a great band. Chris Cornell, hit a note while you're at it every now and again. My God.
Just an okay singer, right?
Yeah, my one Soundgarden thing, I was into them when they put out the record with Rusty Cage, Bad Motor Finger. The first time I heard that song, Rusty Cage, that's the one with the guitar intro and then the drums kick in and then it just and then my brains explode every time.
Yeah.
I heard that at a very high volume the first time I ever heard it, and I remember just sitting there going, I think my band should stop making music now. I was like, that is the most badass thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is a good song.
To this day, I still am like, I will put that on because I just need to get the blood flowing or whatever. It's like it's never changed, man.
It's impossible to not start moving listening to that song in one way or another.
Absolutely incredible. I was talking to Matt Cameron about that once, and I decided I'm just going to tell him how much that song means to me. And the problem was I was really drunk, and I was like, "It's that one, song it goes like, it's that one, the." And
he's just rolling his eyes.
And he looked at me and goes, "Rusty Cage." I go, "No, it's not outshined." And I was literally, I barely remember it. That's how bad it was. These things happen.
Yeah,
Sorry, Matty boy. You know what? It's 9 a.m. straight up. It's a Friday. I'm feeling Minnesota. Speaking of Soundgarden, what are the headlines, Paul?
I was just going to say, on that very album, we got our name for headlines. Egg prices are still rising on average. Data shared on Thursday by the Bureau of Labor Statistics say that egg prices rose 5.9% in March. That is slower than it was in February, 10.4, and slower than it was in January with 15.4. Okay, so it's slowing. Here's the problem. That all sounds great, except wholesale egg prices are falling. They have been since they peaked in February at $8 per dozen. They're down to $3.26 now. I just found it funny how that's not.
But it's not translating to
finding their way to us.
Yeah.
But as long as those wholesalers are making a bunch of money, I guess that's all that really matters, right?
Wow. Okay, back off, Egg Jones. Okay. You're red, and there's a little bit of smoke coming out of your ears.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
I just haven't eaten eggs for a while. That's all.
All right, I hear you.
Get yourself to a restaurant where they're getting the wholesale eggs on the cheap. I think that's the plan. Get over to Al's and game on.
That's a good call. That's a good call. You could call it trickle-down effect. Speaking of this economy that we're in and changing state budget situation, Minnesota state officials are weighing whether to raise tuition at our 26 colleges and 7 universities in 2026 and 2027 by anywhere from 3.5% to 9%, the highest proposed tuition hike in more than a decade.
Good Lord. 3%, I would be like, yeah, whatever. 9%, that gets my attention.
Yeah. That's significant.
All I know is this. I have one semester to go. My daughter will graduate college in December. She's she's on the 4.5-year plan. My son's already out, and man, am I excited about that.
Oh yeah.
Whew. Can't say a whole different pocketbook.
Yeah.
Taco Bell is reviving their crispy chicken nuggets after a wildly successful and brief debut last December. The development team, I love this, development team tried more than 50 recipes for the breading of their chicken nuggets. I find this hard to believe. Before they landed on tortilla chip coating. I would have thought that would be the first coating that they probably tried.
Yeah, I'm Taco Bell and chicken nuggets. It just doesn't ring a bell that I'm interested in.
Well, Taco Bell is betting on their nuggets becoming a $5 billion menu category by 2030. So they would
$5 billion?
billion with a B. Yeah.
Do you ever
that's a lot of nugs.
Do you ever think, and I think about this sometimes, and I'm not stoned, just how many chickens there are on planet Earth when you think about how much chicken we consume? Mm-hmm. I mean, just the amount of chicken my son consumes, I'm thinking to myself, how big are these farms? How big are these chicken ranches?
And how many are there? I mean, it's just it's got to be endless.
Endless supply of chickens, apparently.
Yeah, well, let's keep an eye out for chicken at Taco Bell. If they plan on it being a $5 billion menu category, I have to believe they're going to go beyond nuggets.
Yeah.
You can't sell that many nuggets, can you?
No, I wouldn't think.
I mean, they are coated in tortilla chips.
A lot of stoners out there.
That's true.
All right.
That's what I got.
That's what you got. Here's what I got. This weekend, by the time we're back here on Monday, we'll know an awful lot about both the Timberwolves and the Wild. Sunday night, 9 p.m., the puck drops in Las Vegas. Game 1 against the Golden Knights for the Minnesota Wild. I'll say it again. I'm just picking on Matt Boldy. I'm not picking on him. I'm picking him to be the guy that swings it in the direction of the Wild. Yeah. He's not been really all that great in the playoffs so far in his career, but after the regular season he just had, here's hoping he rolls into the postseason and contributes mightily.
A good friend of mine who played in the NHL for quite a few years, Mark Parrish, said a great line a few years ago. Your biggest players need to play the biggest when you get to these games. Yep. So you need Kaprizov, you need Boldy, you need these guys, you need Gustafson. They've got to take over. So
that's why it's cooler than postseason baseball. You know what Derek Jeter said, why he was so great in the postseason? He said, I play the exact same way. Everyone else gets clenched.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool in its own, actually.
Yeah.
That's his way of saying, no, I have ice water in my veins, and all you guys are wimps.
Freaking out.
Yeah, pretty badass. The Timberwolves will tip off against the Lakers tomorrow in L.A. Anthony Edwards, your league-leading three-pointer shooter for the season, is going to be, I would imagine, the focus of all of L.A.'s defensive strategy. It's like contain Ant. We don't care if Dante goes for 30. You know, they're going to just like shut Ant down. So, Anthony, if you're listening, there's going to be a lot of double teams. Get rid of that ball early in the shot clock, brother. And work it around. Use your teammates.
And you know he's listening.
Duh.
Yes, and you just sold him on that game plan.
He hasn't texted me yet this morning, so maybe he's sleeping in.
Yeah, him and Boldy both listen a lot.
I'm looking forward to both of those games. I will watch the Lakers-Wolves game in its entirety. I will watch the beginning of the Wild game. I guarantee you, at 9 p.m. I'll be up at 9 p.m. Sunday night. I won't be able to. I'll have to just watch at least a few minutes. I'll probably at least get through the first period, and then I'll regret it Monday morning.
Maybe I'll nap Sunday to prep for it and stay up a little later.
Now you're talking, Strohs.
No, it still sucks, though. 9 o'clock is insanity.
Rookie mistake.
The Minnesota Lynx have traded for Carly Samuelson. She's a player who was playing in Washington, a Stanford grad, big 6-footer. She's a solid player. They're strengthening that bench over at the Lynx. And the fun part of this story is she got on a plane in Spain and noticed that her phone was blowing up and decided not to look at it because she's like, well, I'll check it when we get off the ground. The Wi-Fi on the plane, as it turned out, was not working. She flew across the Atlantic Ocean, landed in North Carolina, 9 or 10 hours after everyone on Earth but her knew she'd been traded to the Minnesota Lynx. Turned her phone on. I just like the idea of that. Like, what's happening in the world? And everyone she knows is texting her and sending her notes and, hey, way to go. Cool, you're with the team. She's the last person to know. It's just a throwback. It's like we're living in the 90s again for a brief hot moment there, and I think that's cool.
That would be great.
Oak Park Heights.
Oh.
Oak Park Heights. Glad to have you with us.
It's a good Heights.
On Gorman in the Morning, right here. We have got some pretty cool finds. We were talking about coolest things people have found after a long time message in a bottle was taken off of a beach in the Bahamas. 651-989-ROCK. Hey, a little later, in just a few minutes, Beecher Vaillancourt is going to join us in studio. We're going to be discussing marijuana legislation.
And other stuff.
In the state of Minnesota. Any questions you may have, we will take them. 651-989-ROCK. It'll be an informative and healing conversation. Sorry, I had to go Oprah there for a second. Looking forward to that. On the talk and text line 651-989 Rock, a lot of cool finds we've been discussing. Check this text out. This is the one I'm always looking for. I found a book at a book sale. I paid $1 for it. Yeah. It was signed by JFK. Wow. I sold it for thousands. Jeez. Yeah, that's what I go to flea markets. I'm always looking for the painting that underneath it has a copy of the Constitution or something. Uh-huh. That actually happened. There was a guy in the state of Georgia who bought a framed painting for he didn't pay $1. He paid like $50 for it, but still in the grand scheme of things, not much, at a garage sale. And he took it home and he wanted to reframe it and he pulled the thing apart and there was a actual Declaration of Independence in there.
Holy Hannah.
Many millions. And I'm just like, that's why I never find that painting. I find the painting, I'm like, maybe it's an original Van Gogh. It's never. It's just not.
But think of how much junk those people have sifted through to find that one diamond in the rough. I just don't have that kind of time.
Just have no idea. So there's a few. Wait, there was one. Oh yeah, here's the one I was going to read to you. Good morning, KQ members, faithful listener for over 40 years. Cheers for that. Best find. I was in my late 20s digging for worms for fishing in a vacant lot. Found an old army coat in the weeds stuck to the ground, moldy. I attempted to pick it up to dig underneath it, and it just ripped to shreds. Then I saw shiny objects laying on the ground underneath it, coins. About $2 worth of coins from the 60s with one gold-looking locket of some kind. It looked like a coin. Did some research, blah, blah, blah. It was from the 1800s. Ooh. A $5 gold piece from back then.
Amazing.
Nice. Worth at the point approximately $400. Many years later, I did carefully break the soldered locket off of it, cleaned it up. Pretty cool. Still encased in a professional grading container for future sale. Yeah, hang on to that bad boy.
Yeah. Those are better than pull tabs.
Much better than pull tabs. Yeah. Much better than pull tabs. So this is the deal. We've got Beecher Vaillancourt coming in studio. We will be answering your questions and our questions. It will be informative. I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be fun.
92 KQRS.
Good morning with Fletcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Fletcher, Ryder, myself, and now Beecher Vaillancourt is joining us in studio. Beecher, first things first. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing?
All is well on this end, as far as we know. Nothing is on fire. Just basically, if there's no smoke, I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
Feel like everything's working out okay. You are in the business of, how would you explain the business of?
We are in the business of cannabis. We do manufacturing, distribution, production, and sales.
And so a variety of products. And first things first, and we'll say this a few times, but you have you sell this stuff where? What are the store? Where people locally can they go to find your products?
Locally here, we're in Minnesota, about 600 different locations. We own some stores called Turning Leaf here in Minnesota, and then in Wisconsin, we own the stores called Ignite Dispensaries.
Very nice. Very nice. We've got some questions from listeners that we're going to share with you. But first things first, I'm just looking at some of the products you've brought in here. THC gummies, various products. I'm flying blind with all this. I'm aware of them. I see them. I don't normally ingest too much of this myself because in the past I've had them and I don't know what I'm getting into and I don't know what works for me and I haven't done enough time to figure out what's best for me. I only have one question. What's going to help me sleep?
As far as sleep's concerned, we have a nice sleep gummy over there that offers both CBD and CBN, and so that should be able to help you sleep and sleep through the night. However, there's a lot of folks that do need some THC in order to be able to fall asleep, so we recommend just low and slow is the way to go.
Right.
5 milligram gummy, about 45 minutes to an hour before you go to bed, should be able to do the thing.
How long have you been in this business, like full-time?
8 years.
And from 8 years ago to now, has it grown at the way you expected? Has it been beyond what you could have hoped for in your wildest dreams? What's that been like?
It's grown much further than we expected. We were a wellness company doing CBD products and mostly skincare in the beginning. So to see this evolution into mainstream food and beverage, found in grocery stores, hair salons, liquor stores, etc., is absolutely amazing. And also for Minnesota to be the leader of that across the U.S. is very impressive.
Very cool indeed. The question of legalization over the last few years, we've gotten stories, and we know that it's coming down the road. There's always seems to be hurdles and roadblocks and potholes, blah blah blah. We had one caller, Jack, came in earlier, and his question, which a lot of people have asked, very simply for Minnesota as far as the law goes. Let me get your thoughts on this. Why didn't Minnesota just copy marijuana legislation from a state like Colorado that was way out in front of us?
When you take a scenario like that, so much has changed since then. Minnesota was trying to pass something through that wouldn't get any lawsuits, and passing older legislation today would have had that happen.
Okay.
Although it ended up happening anyway, and so our rulemaking process has been paused 3 different times now.
Yeah, right. I'm sure that's got to be pretty frustrating. There's a whole lot of people sort of. It's like you're all in the on-deck circle, like waiting to go to the next level and say, okay, here we are.
Yeah, hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait. How about this question from Tom? Do dogs really respond well to CBD? Does it really help them?
I have personally, throughout my own animals and friends' animals, have seen a lot of therapeutic benefit for the right amount of CBD in dog treats, and just seeing good calming, seeing dogs have a little bit more mobility. It's going to probably depend dog to dog at the end of the day, but it's something I support.
That's good to know. This guy's 8 years old. I'm sure one of these days he's going to be slowing down a little bit. Well, we might have to dip in and check that out. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. If you have a question about this sort of thing, feel free to throw it in here. Fletcher, did you have something you were going to ask?
You've been involved in legislature and lawmaking on this topic. What is taking, we've read that it's kind of a mess with getting dispensaries open, etc. What is the biggest hang-up on all of that stuff?
Biggest hang-up has been disagreements on the rulemaking process of it all, and having those rules in place prior to putting out the actual licensing. And then there's also just been a couple lawsuits that have popped up of people that felt it was unfair.
Do you think it's kind of a mess, or is it just the process?
I think to have expected it just to have happened the way it was supposed to right off the bat was, you'd have been kind of blind to have imagined that. So the fact that, we're 4 or 5 months behind and it's going to actually take place now, I think is probably more appropriate timing of it anyway.
Okay, good enough.
I'd rather work out some of these kinks than launch and then have to fix a bunch of things.
Yeah, you don't want to go backwards for sure.
Exactly.
Might as well get it right. Measure twice, and pound once, I guess, as they say.
Beecher Vaillancourt is in studio with us today. We're discussing all things, a lot of things, THC and cannabis-related CBD. There's a salve that you brought in, a muscle relief type of product, I imagine. And you mentioned before we went on, you are a marathoner. Or about to be.
Yeah, the wife and I are about to run Grandma's Marathon for the first time, and our company, Balance Naturals, is also one of the sponsors for it, so very exciting.
And so you've probably used a little bit of this yourself.
Yeah, when we're doing our long run preps right now, I'll use some of our relief salve prior to running on my knees, and then go ahead and put it on again after I get done with those long runs.
Okay, and I got to ask, and I'm not trying to be funny, I'm genuinely asking, when you run, do you have anything in your system? Do you have a gummy in you? Is there a certain thing that allows you? I can't imagine running that far. I would need something to put my brain into a straitjacket. I'm just curious.
We make a brain boost gummy that's infused with adaptogens and THC, and
Nice.
I'll take a half one of those prior to hiking or doing any of our longer runs for sure.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
Interesting. That's
we've talked. I mean, anecdotally, everyone has funny stories about when you're young, and when I was young anyway. This stuff would have been so mind-bogglingly futuristic to imagine being available anywhere.
Right.
And it all just goes back to funny stories about being stoned and all these things. Yeah. And that's clearly not the vibe with you and your products. This is, I mean, it may only be 8 years for you in this industry, and it may be newish in the state of Minnesota, but people have been trying to make sense of this for a very long time. This is, I don't know if this is the word. This is medicinal, most of this. There's a purpose for these things, and you guys have figured out exactly what you're looking for. There's a million different, there's many options out there.
Yeah, now I think the biggest thing that's happened over this last couple of years is people have been able to understand what milligram strength is, what dosing actually is, and people have been able to have open conversations about what is the right amount of THC for you.
Right. Yeah.
It takes a minute to get there and find it because I mean I've used it. I've CBD and THC for sleep for quite a while now, and it there are a couple of where actually the THC woke me up in the middle of the night because I was on another planet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I was like, oh, okay, went a little too far there. Might want to back it off a little.
That'll happen
a little bit. Yeah, for sure. I could see that solve being. I've got hockey knees, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm only 51. I'm not exactly old. I'm also not in the best shape in the world. But stairs give me issues now and then, and I bet that stuff would be. I'm like you just said that on your knees, and immediately the light bulb went off. I'm like, all right, I need to try that on the knees.
Yeah. What's down the road? What sort of products are you looking into? What can we expect? Flash forward not 8 years, but just a year from now, 2 years from now. Are there new things in development?
Yeah, we are launching a large format, kind of one-to-one alcohol replacement under the Balance brand right now. We also have these little small THC infusions where you can take any everyday beverage and turn them into a 5 or 10 milligram dose beverage. And then other than that, you will see definitely good high-end Balance and Foundry Nation products in the adult use legal space as far as pre-rolls, high-end carts, and disposables as well.
Okay, the alcohol replacement. So this is I'm looking, there's a bottle here. It looks like a bottle of alcohol, but it's THC infused what?
It's essentially THC infused water, and it's shelf stable so that you can take an ounce and a half pour of that, and instead of putting your vodka or tequila into something, you can just go ahead and use that instead.
Just use that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm liking this. I'm coming. I'm. If this is a game of Red Rover, I'm walking slowly over.
You're coming on over.
Yeah. This is all. You strike me as a very level head. I mean, anybody that can run a marathon, I'm going to actually listen to. Sorry, it's just that simple. I'm like, okay, this guy's got it figured out.
What you're trying to say is we've come a long way from Dazed and Confused, is what you're saying.
Well, pretty much.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that's still not my favorite movie of all time. I watch that movie like it's a documentary because I grew up in the South in the 70s.
All right.
I'm not kidding, man.
I love that.
We were talking earlier about moments that we've cried in life. This is a true story. I saw that movie in the theater in 1993, and as the credits rolled, I wasn't crying. I was weeping. I was so moved and connected. I was like one of the 8th graders in that movie at that time. It just was so real. That's what I think a lot of people don't realize. That movie that was a documentary. It plays like a film. It was a documentary.
You had never felt so seen. You were seen.
It's entirely true. Okay, we've got a few more questions. Callers. Tony asked, why did the medical dispensaries get up and running so much quicker than the recreational?
Minnesota launched a medical program back in 2014, and so they just had first dibs at market, and have also, been the ones servicing those that have been able to have those cards up to this point.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. 651-989-ROCK. That is the number if you have a question. Rich called it. He just wants to mention that he picked up some Gorilla Glue at Treasure Island, and he's going to have a good weekend.
There we go, Rich.
Nice. Island Peggy out there is an amazing little dispensary, nice little gem in our backyard.
All right, very nice.
That's fantastic. Hey, I'm curious, where did this all start for you? I mean, you could have gone, you seem like a pretty sharp dude. You could have gone any direction you wanted. Was there something in your life that happened, like medically or just, physically, whatever, that led you down this path as your choice of profession?
I think between myself, my partners, and the wife, we just wanted to have some plant-based alternatives for folks. We saw that there was no manufacturing standards, that there wasn't a lot of education around there, and we wanted to be able to just spread plant medicine for as many people as possible and do the work. I mean, we have a medical grade, certified organic food grade lab that we make everything in, and I could actually still make all these products outside right now next to your car because there's no standards, but that's our standard.
Right.
So that's where the motivation was to see this opportunity and go ahead and do it what we felt to be the correct way.
Right on. This is a text from Carrie. What product helps one focus more, as in, say, in school?
As a 21-year-old in college, hopefully, at school, something that's going to have sativa terpenes typically would be better for focus. The Brain Boost that we have sitting over there right now, has also lion's mane, the sativa terpenes, and ashwagandha in it. So it just really helps to promote, focus and, energy.
Wow.
Did you say lion's mane?
Lion's mane.
Is that easy to harvest?
I'm not the harvester of that. It comes out of Oregon, but it's been a really good functional adaptogen and mushroom that's been available.
Wow.
All right. Well,
Steve's already getting into the Brain Boost.
I'm looking at the Brain Boost, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, it probably comes in handy. I'll just be pocketing that 10 right there.
I might need 16 of those to boost this brain.
That'll happen. It's I can see you going. I can see you going deep into the well with that one. 651-989 Rock. Adult use licensing. Well, I guess I keep going back and forth with. I have an understanding of where we are and where we're going to be, but say 5 years from now, do you expect Minnesota to be the kind of state where just anything anybody can buy anywhere else in the states is available? I mean, do you think we'll be? Is there anything Colorado will have that we won't? Basically, that's always the gold standard for people. They want to talk about Colorado's laws and availabilities.
I would really, really hope inside of the next 5 years we just have federal legalization across the board and some standardization that's happening there. As of right now, I think Minnesota actually has a little bit of a leg up on Colorado in the fact that it's going to allow a lot of the low dose items within their cannabis dispensary arena where most other states don't. So that is one big step forward that Minnesota is allowing. Also, the dispensaries here are going to have very robust beverage selections where they're kind of an afterthought in most other states.
Right. Oh, that's cool. It's good to know.
We're far along into this thing. It's just, like you said, we just need federal regulation and just get on with it for crying out loud. What are we waiting for? It's ridiculous.
Okay, here's another question. A CDL driver wants to know if there's something that would help the knees that won't show up on a drug test.
The relief salve I have here, or most topicals, even if as long as they're not, most topicals as long as they are full spectrum infused, even though there's a very small amounts of THC, you should not have that bleed through your skin and pop up as far as that's concerned. And that's only on topicals. I wouldn't necessarily recommend taking full spectrum tinctures to relieve the pain orally, but as far as skin's concerned, I would be very comfortable using those.
Right on. Beecher Vaillancourt, tell us again, where can people find these things? Well, I mean, just you have a bunch of places, but your particular stores again?
Our stores would be Turning Leaf, shopturningleaf.com, online at Balanced Naturals, BLNCDnaturals.com, and over in Wisconsin at Ignite Dispensaries.
Right on. Well, listen, man, thanks for coming in and offering us all of this information that we would not have otherwise.
I love it. I'm all in.
Appreciate you guys' time this morning. Let me know if you need any more products.
All right.
There it is, the magic words. We're just about out of here, but Paul Fletcher, what have you got coming up?
You know what? I'm going to need some of that brain boost so I can stick around and play some more songs and talk articulately, hopefully.
Articulately?
Yeah, hopefully.
I like that.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Enunciation, always a plus.
Yeah. Generally, you want to be articulate on the radios.
I think that makes sense. Right on. Paul with a whole bunch of great music. We hope everybody has an awesome weekend. Yeah. We'll be back before you know it. Wild and Wolves back at it this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. We'll talk to you Monday.
Gorman in the Morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.